Hey guys, so we're going to talk about a little bit of some stuff here, and we're going to continue on bending. We got some train terms. We're going to talk about bending. As far as school goes, it's looking like the 29th now. I'll be calling you guys again Thursday, Friday. It's looking like the 29th of April. We're going back. I wouldn't count on it. I would say maybe we are, maybe we aren't. It's a 2 week thing, and getting closer to the 29th, they're either going to say, hey, we're going back on the 29th, or we're going to go back on the 14th or 15th, which will give us 1 month. And if we get 1 month going back, we'll be able to finish up a few chapters, do a handful of projects and stuff like that, you know. So we would be in good shape. And we'd be in good shape. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you guys updated. Although this hand bending section is something we already completed. We never did the trade terms on it, so we're going to do the trade terms, which is kind of like the review. It's the terminology. It's stuff you need to know in the field. So, but I'm going to do all 9 questions. So I'm going to do all 9 questions, and we're going to bang them out and go quick. All right. So a right angle bend. What would a right angle bend be? What is the terminal name for a right angle bend? You bend a right angle. What is it? It's a 90, right? Right angle bends are 90s. The rise in a section of conduit at 90 degrees is called a what? What's it called? You got a 90. What's that part called that comes up? What's it called? There's a name for it. It's called a stub up. Okay, a stub up. What is the actual length of the conduit after it's bent? Well, I give you a design, I give you measurements, you make the bend, it's all done. It's the developed length. How it's the developed length when you're finished. What is 2 bends in a conduit that's used to navigate over a obstruction? So I'm coming over, I'm coming up, and I'm getting up above that obstruction. Well, what's the terminology name for that? Offset. Anybody who had that is good. The next one, what is a large bend that is formed using a whole bunch of little bends? There's a name for it. Segment. Segment bend. So think of segments. Segments are pieces, right? So I'm going to make one large bend. You use a segment bend. Usually when you want to do larger 90s, or you want to bring 90s in closer or uniform together, you segment bend. And we'll get into that next year for you first year guys. So 2 90s with a straight section of conduit between them is called what? 2 90s with a straight between them. What is this? 2 90s comes across and up. That's back-to-back bends. That's 2 90s with the bends between them. What are 90-degree bends in 2 or more parallel sections of conduit where the radius of each bend in conduit after the inside bend is decreased? So blank are 90-degree bends made in 2 or more parallel sections of conduit running along with each other. So that would be a concentric bend. So 2 90s made with 2 or more parallel sections of conduit where the radius of each bend in the conduit after the inside bend respectively is increased. So you're changing the radius. All right. Next one. What is the distance that is saved by the arc of a 90-degree bend? So remember, we go to the wall and we go up as 30. What's that distance we saved right there? So if this is the wall and we're coming in and we're making our bend and we're coming up there, what's that distance right here that I saved? That is our gain. So our gain is that section. And the last one, what is the length of the conduit bent section measured from the bottom to the bottom center line or top of the straight section to the end of the conduit? So the bottom to the top is called your rise. Your rise. So your rise. So here's the question. So question number 1. And I'm going to give you 9 possible answers, but I'm going to go slow. So question number 1 is, question number 1, the right angle bend is always called a what? What is a right angle bend called? Is it called a stub up, a segment, a rise, an offset, a gain, developed length, concentric, back to back, or 90 degree? Number 2. Actually, I'll give you 4 answers from now on. Number 2. So back to question number 2. I'm only going to give you 4 answers of the possible answers here, so I'll give you 4 to make it a little easier for you. So the rise in the section of conduit at 90 degrees. So you made your 90 and you come up. What is that rise called? Is it called a gain? Is it called a concentric bend? Is it called a offset or a rise? Which one is that called? I'm sorry, or a stub up. Which one is that called? That was an easy one. What is the actual length of the conduit after it has been bent? Is it the rise, the gain, the segment, or the developed length? Number 4. What is 2 bends placed in a piece of conduit in order to navigate around an obstruction? I want to go up and over the obstruction. What would that be? Would it be the 90, a stub up, a segment bend, or an offset bend? What is a large bend that is formed by little small bends, by a whole bunch of smaller bends? Is it a developed length, a gain, a back-to-back, or a segment bend? What 2 90-degree bends with a straight section of conduit between them would be called what? A segment bend, an offset bend, a stub-up bend, or a back-to-back bend? Number 7, 2 90-degree bends made in 2 or more parallel sections of conduit where the radius of each bend in conduit after the inside bend is respectively increased. So you make one and then the radius has to get bigger. Would they be segment bend, back-to-back bend, offset bend, or concentric bends? Number 8, what is the distance that is saved by the 90-degree bend? What is the distance that's saved when you make that 90? So the distance going to that corner, you make that 90. Is it the distance, is it 90 degrees, stub up, offset, or gain? And the last one, guys, what is the length of the bent section of conduit measured from the bottom center line or top of the straight section to the end of the conduit being bent? Would that be the gain, the offset, the 90, or the rise? So that's it for this one, guys. April 7th. I will put another one on later today, but this one's out of the way. This is actually Monday's video, and I'm going to put Tuesdays on today. All right. Okay, guys, have a good day. We'll talk to you later.